My name is Peter Muir, and I'm a professor at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. With the support from the Grayson Jockey Club Research Foundation, our team of clinicians and engineers at UW-Madison and the University of Melbourne are developing a computer model of the fetlock joint that can be used to screen racehorses for risk of condylar stress fracture, an important cause of serious injury in thoroughbreds. The computer model will be able to evaluate mechanical effects of bone injury detected by standing computed tomography to determine whether there is risk of imminent injury. Many thoroughbreds that are declared fit to race subsequently experience serious injury because of stress fracture, even in the face of radiographic screening. Many of these horses are euthanized during training and racing as a consequence of condylar stress fracture. The fetlock or ankle joint is a limb region that is particularly predisposed to development of stress fracture. Associated serious injury during racing is particularly common in this joint. Even if horses are screened carefully by an experienced clinician, including evaluation of fetlock radiographs, early fatigue injury to bone may not be detected, potentially putting the horse at risk with ongoing athletic activity. Recent developments with computed tomography mean that CT scanning in the sedated standing horse can routinely be performed. This type of imaging is now becoming widely adopted in equine clinical practice. At UW-Madison and the University of Melbourne, CT scanning of all four fetlocks can easily be performed to screen thoroughbred racehorses for signs of bone injury using the ASTO-CT helical CT scanner. In addition to this scanner, several other CT scanning systems are available commercially and can generate similar image sets. The image on the right is a CT scan from the fetlock of the racehorse in the previous slide. Fetlock radiographs often contain very subtle change that can easily be missed during radiographic screening. The standing CT imaging reveals an obvious large lytic defect in the joint surface that represents the typical fatigue injury that precedes condylar stress fracture. Based on preliminary CT data, we would assess this lesion as concerning for imminent risk of fracture. With this new research funding, we will build a finite element model of the racehorse fetlock for virtual mechanical testing in a computer model derived from the CT imaging. This will enable detailed assessment of horses with CT evidence of fatigue injury to the joint surface to determine whether a concerning lesion is present that represents imminent risk of condylar stress fracture with ongoing athletic activity. This research and routine availability of standing CT imaging will substantially improve longitudinal monitoring of racehorses and reduce the occurrence of catastrophic injury during racing and training. Over time, we expect that racing authorities across the world will increasingly require CT screening of horses in order to participate in racing. The ultimate goal of our research is to enhance the health, welfare and safety of racehorses through improved monitoring for bone injury.
Thank you to the Grayson Jockey Club Foundation for supporting this research work.